Brett Perigo, tonight's second place finisher. Plenty of fans here, Brett, and a solid second place finish.
Yeah, I got to shout out the Turn 2 Terribles over there. They're all a bunch of good guys to hang out with, talk to. I really like them.
How are you doing tonight, man?
Hey, I'm talking here. You know who you're talking to? Macho Man! I'm on my way to Monday Night Raw.
How do I want to answer the second one?
Your choice.
It's a trap.
I feel like it is. I feel like he's setting up fights in the front stretch is what he's trying to do.
Speedway. Got Devin Gordon with us
at Keen Motorsports Shop here with Kyle Keen.
Sitting here with Sean Keen. We're going to talk a little bit about racing history.
Yep.
What's up, everyone? Turn to Terribles. It is May 6, 2024. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Sorry we are a little late. Just running a little bit behind here. Chris will be joining us in a little bit, or maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. But me and Jay-Z are here. We're going to be talking everything from this past weekend: Williams Grove, High Limit, World of Outlaws, and then we're also going to take a deep dive here, previewing the Outlaw versus Posse this week at Lincoln and Williams Grove. We're going to get to some of your picks and your dark horses, all that, all your comments and ideas here of what's going on. So, Jay-Z, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. You know, honestly, I hate that racing gets rained out, but a one race weekend was not that bad. I was kind of okay with it already. I don't feel like it's only May 6th, and I was like, man, I'm okay if it rains out and there's no racing Sunday. I felt okay with it, and Friday was a good show. Really a good race Friday night. Yeah. So I'm hyped for this week. Hoping we get a lot of shows in, and we're getting going here in Central PA. So I'm excited.
Same here. Yeah, I'm excited for this week. Hopefully the weather holds out. I hate to say it. But let's get into it. Let's get into this past weekend. We're going to start Williams Grove. Obviously, before we get into all that, everything on Saturday was rained out. If you're in Pennsylvania, it just rained persistently pretty much Saturday and Sunday. So we didn't get anything else in other than Williams Grove, but we got bangers on Friday. Let's start with the 410 feature. Lance DeWeese getting his first win in that 12. Awesome to see, but it was at the expense of Chad Trout, who dominated that race. And did he run out of fuel, or did he have something? I've heard mixed stories here. Ran out of fuel, had a tire going down, had something wrong. Was it
Who,
fuel?
Chad Trout?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't go back and look or hear, but I heard multiple guys were running out of fuel in the last lap or two. And it sounded like Chad Trout was running out of fuel off of 2, where Lance just kind of went around the top there and made it look pretty easy. Sounds like he was running out of fuel, yeah.
So that's a bummer for him because he really dominated that race, even through cautions and everything, restarts. He was out there doing a really, really fantastic job. We're going to play some highlights here, courtesy of Dirt Vision on Twitter here. It was a really, really good race. The track was pretty wide. They did time trials here. What were your observations early in the night? Because I know you said something about the bottom lane when we were talking when you were at the track.
Yeah, like it was very interesting. First of all, Macri had a really good, like a 16.7, I think was quick time. So, that's pretty fast for Williams Grove. I mean, it's not slow by any means. If you're in the 16s, I think you're doing pretty good. What was really interesting in turns 1 and 2.
Oh, cool.
So
okay.
We all know where the bottom of 1 and 2, about, I don't know, 6-8 feet wide off the bottom. That looks like they didn't work the track in. It was dry and it was hard packed, and it was a different color from the beginning of the night. So it almost looks like if you took the tires at a racetrack and moved them out, and then you moved them back, nobody's been there. They haven't worked the track. So from the first hot lap session, they were already a lane up from minute 1. And I think, like, I can't imagine that they didn't do that on purpose. It wasn't an accident. I can't believe anyone forgot 6 or 8 feet of track at the bottom. So I feel like, without knowing for sure, that they prepped the track to try to push the lane up in 1 and 2. And really, as we're watching this,
it worked
pretty wide down here by the end of the night. So you can almost see it down there. It's a light strip at the very bottom of the racetrack in 1 and 2. And then 3 and 4, there were guys on the wall in 3 and 4, which I haven't seen in a long time. 358s were, the 410s were up really high on exit. Middle, there's a little bit left in the middle 1 and 2, but it was wide all the way around. And man, Chad Trout was fast. But yeah, like you can almost see it at the very bottom by the tires in the lights there. It's just a super light brown, and so it forced the guys to move up a little from the start of the night, and it really moved it up well.
I wonder if they were trying something or it just kind of happened that way, but it turned out. I mean, really, with Williams Grove, we know how it goes, and we talked about before. Kind of single lane in the heats, but then it widens out and makes for great features. But it's cool to see them, if they were trying something different to try to make it a little bit easier earlier on. But yeah, Lance takes the win down. Troy with a P2. Chase Dietz with a podium as well. Chad Trout still finished 6th. And Logan Wagner, rare 69K appearance with Logan Wagner outside of Port Royal. He ran really well, looked really good. They're worth, was it 30?
30 or 31. I think it was opposite. It was 30 and it was 34 10s and 31 358s, I think.
Yeah. So good fields for both B mains, time trials, and everything. Borden 15th to 4th. He was ripping. He had that little bit of a ledge to kind of lean on, and he was able to just kind of rip around up top. I think the biggest thing though was Chad Trout running out of fuel, because he has speed, and if he could start up front, he's proven before that he can win. But man, just I was happy for Lance, but Lance was even kind of downtrodden a little. I don't want to say downtrodden. He just was like, we were there in the right position at the right time. We weren't the best car, but you got to be there, and
listen, here's the thing. Luis passed Trout right before the yellow came out near the end. He had him passed and cleared down the front stretch. Lap wasn't complete. They gave the lead back to Trout in clean air. Trout's winning that race, probably in clean air and fuel. But yeah, Lance can feel that way. But at the same time, Troy, if it's just as easy if Troy's in second when Trout runs out of fuel, Troy's winning the race. So you got to have yourself in the position to be able to take advantage of those things that could happen. He wasn't the only one that ran out of fuel. So it is what it is. It was one of those nights that obviously the cars were burning a lot of fuel and just didn't quite put enough in it, and I don't know what the total lap count was, if they were close to an open red or not. But it did get pretty cold. It was pretty warm when we got there, 75 degrees. And then by the end of the night, it was like cooling quickly down into the low 60s. So, yeah, I mean, it was cool to see Lance do it. And it really felt like once he got the lead there, he was just like that much better. But when second place runs out of fuel and people kind of fall back, it made it look easy. But man, he had that wing back, and that thing was just straight as can be. Drive like Lance of old is what it looked like. So pretty interesting.
Um, real quick, Brad and Zerk, DD and Jake tried some setup changes. Yeah, that was the first time in a long time that I've seen Danny go backwards rather than forwards. Usually he's coming from back and working his way up there. I have not seen him go back and like that, outside of something breaking, obviously, in a long, long time. So whatever they tried didn't work. But at least they know now. That's why you try it. You know what I mean? Freedom Forever, what's going on? Watching from the state of Virginia. Glad to see Lance Luis get the win. I was happy as well. Tony says there was 50 laps total for the feature, so that is pretty close to, open red territory, I would say, at Williams Grove. And Steph said Chad sensed that he was running the top. It used fuel faster, even though they were full.
Wow. Okay. So, combination of getting close to the lap count and running the top and good air, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Consuming a lot of fuel. I've heard, I think last year, one day I was standing in the pits talking, and, people connected to teams would know better, but yeah, there you go. 55. So we were right on it. But, I've heard them burning a gallon a lap around that place in the right air. So, a gallon a lap is a lot. So you add in a caution lap or two there, you can run them out pretty quick. So Devin Borden, obviously impressive, 15th to 4th. Yeah. And I'm telling you what, man, I had a great view of him in 3 and 4. I was on top of a trailer down there, and it was a very Devin Borden racetrack that he could just run it as hard as it would go. And he was getting all of it. It was pretty wild to watch. So it was fun to watch for sure.
This was something that was controversial. Dave Scott Smeltzer, 2D probably would have won if it wasn't for that penalty. He did get a penalty. I guess he was warned on allegedly was warned on the first restart for getting out of line, and then he did it on a second restart and got docked two spots on the ensuing restart. A lot of from Dirt Vision, it doesn't look like he was getting out of line any more than maybe some other cars, but I think what the thing is Tony confirms was warned. It sounds like he was getting out of line before the leader fired. Once the leader fires and they're coming down the front, you could get out of line, you just can't pass. So I guess that is kind of the line that he towed and got docked. What are your thoughts on that?
I actually had to I had a driver correct me on this, not correct me, but kind of fill me in a little bit more, because from my viewpoint, there were cars just, the leader would sort of come down the racetrack from the middle of 3 and 4, dive down off the bottom and go. And then when he went, I saw cars going up around the top. I saw cars doing whatever. But apparently that's okay because the leader fired. You can do that as long as you're single file by the cone on the front stretch. So you can do that. But what was happening, I guess, Chase was actually maneuvering up or down while they were still pacing, coming to the green, not even taking the green yet. The leader hadn't fired and he was out of line. You're supposed to stay nose to tail before the leader fires. I guess he wasn't multiple times. You get a penalty. So it didn't seem like it was an obvious thing to me, but I wasn't really looking for that before. I just kept noticing as soon as the leader fired, cars just scattered high and low, where they would try to go up to the cushion, get momentum down the front to get a run into one. So I guess he was out of line far enough, got a warning, and continued to do it and got a penalty. So I guess play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
He kind of cost himself a win because he would have been right in, with Chad Trout. He would have been right there probably, right there. And he looked fast. But getting that dock let Lance and Troy by. I think it was Troy first and then Lance ended up getting around Troy after that. Another big player that got taken out of this that you don't see here on the top 10 was Anthony Macker. He was up there early battling and something broke. I don't think that brought out a yellow. I think he was able to get into the pits without bringing out a yellow.
Well, actually, a yellow did come out because at the same time he was pulling in, Ryan Taylor had his incident in the middle of 3 and 4. So Macri had kind of come in the access road And the yellow was either maybe they did throw the yellow, and then I look up and Ryan Taylor's wrecked in the middle of 3 and 4. I still don't know the sequence at all, and it all happened together.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that was the one, or was that the wing, or was that Cisney's
Oh,
wing?
yes. No, that was Sisney's wing was towards the end.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that was but it was just a coincidence. I don't think the yellow was gonna come out. Maybe it had already, but Macri was really slow down the backstretch. When they pulled in, he kind of pulled in right there beside where I was, and he looked under the hood right away. So I assume a motor, but they were done for the night, packed up, whatever. So definitely terminal, whatever
Bummer.
it was.
But if you're gonna
sure.
do it now before the Outlaws come in this week, I guess. You know what I mean? Just kind of,
Well, and then he went out to
He did.
Eldora, and I think had a rear end issue. I think on the first time out, he come with a rear end right away. So, get those gremlins out now, I guess. I mean, not that you want to go out to Eldora and have a problem. And I don't know how his night ended up. I actually didn't get to watch it, but yeah, I mean, that's not good back to back. You pack up and drive all those hours to Eldora and unload with another problem.
Tough.
So hopefully they got it all fixed up and they're ready to
Troy
go.
Savage, Devin Borden just loves passing cars. Would be good to see him start up front. Yeah, he would probably agree. Marie Beasley, Lance can win at the Grove at any car. I mean, this guy has 115th win at Williams Grove alone, plus the 100 and some whatever he has at Port Royal. I mean, this guy just wins. He's done it his whole career. Fun race to watch for sure. Didn't see what the 2D did from Curtis Spoonhour. Aiden Daniels. This is an interesting question. Great Racing always wondered why Grove hasn't fixed a big dip going into 3. Thoughts? I think that's just I want to say it's kind of natural because of how they're going into all the downforce that they're getting as they're going into the corner, but I could be wrong. I don't think no matter what you do, it's always going to end up coming back. But like I said, I could be wrong. I don't really know shit.
Turn 1 has a dip too, just in a different way. The banking is different in turn 1. Turn 1 has a dip. I've gotten tons of pictures where cars are bottoming out into turn 1. So I think it's just a product of the racetrack and the tight corners and where they pitch the cars in. 3 and 4 just has banking, so you get to see it in a different way in 3 and 4. But 1 and 2 has a dip similar to that at almost the same point. I don't know if it's really fixable unless you change the configuration of the track. It's not like they.
There you go, Tony.
Well, then there's an underground.
There's an underground spring.
Like I've heard this too before, but at the same time, it's just a coincidence that it's at both ends of the racetrack where they turn the cars in. So maybe it's a combination of both. But I just blow the place up. Tear it down, build it in a different part of the cornfield, start over.
Turn 1 6 because of the tunnel, Chris? And that makes sense. But like we said, it's just kind of coincidentally where they pitch it to the corner.
Excuses.
You know what I mean? So.
It's a lot of excuses, Jimmy. Look, we got an underground spring on one side. You got a sinkhole on the other side. You got a tunnel over there. The water level's high.
Makes sense. Makes sense that the water table was high when you have a spring under your track.
That's a good point, I guess.
I mean, think about even like Pocono, the tunnel turn has a little bump in it too.
It does. Yeah, you're right. Tony knows that from 25 years at working at the Gross. Thank you for your service, sir.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about Williams Grove. I don't know anything, actually.
Beer Hill Groundhog also, says Matthew Burton.
What the hell is that?
Have you not seen the groundhog that sits on the fence?
No. I've never noticed this.
What? They post a picture all the time. The groundhog that comes out and just sits on the fence on random days.
Is it the same groundhog?
Probably.
Puxatawny Phil, you got...
Tony would know. He probably named it. Yeah, that's all I do. That's all I'm good for, to be honest. I'm not sure why.
Just a clarification from Tony, who is an official at Williams Grove. Rule is nose to tail till green is thrown. His front wheel was besides the back wheel of the car in front of him. So that's the reason for Chase Dietz's penalty.
I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of a rule guy, but it kind of sounds nitpicky.
When they're not
at speed. I don't know. I guess, it wasn't a Dietrich or something.
But yeah. So, yeah. Again, top 10, Lance DeWeese, Troy Wagaman Jr., Chase Dietz, Devin Borden, Freddie Raymer, Chad Trout, Danny Dietrich, Logan Wagner, Aaron Bollinger with 9th place, and Justin Whittle with the top 10. Chris, you got any thoughts from the 410 feature?
Nope, you guys covered it all.
Cheers. Let's
Cheers.
go to the 358 feature. And Doug Hamaker with the win. Nat Tuckey second. Cole Young with the podium. How about that? Kyle Spence, our good friend there, seventh. What'd you see from this 358 feature?
I saw
Chris.
Doug Hamaker just kind of dominate that race, and it was going to be hard to pass him. Nat actually wasn't even going to get close. Still really fast. I don't think there was a whole lot of passing in that race. Just one of those nights where good car got out front and ran away.
Yeah, I think there were some good battles from like third on back, like third through 10th there. They were battling pretty hard, top, bottom, middle. Not a lot of sliders per se for position, but man, they were really racing hard. They it was a good feature. I know Hammaker really dominated that race, is what I expect when he starts out front. Just super happy for obviously Nat Tuckey. Hell of a run for him. He's needed a good run like this for a couple years now, and he's had moments of speed, and then something happens, and then you have bad draw, and just all these different random things. Tires, oh my god, I've seen him so many tires and random shit happen when he's in a good spot. So great run for him. Chase Gutshall was there. Carberry looked good. Kyle Spence, that battle was fun. Yeah, these two went at it pretty hard. There was a lot of good battling throughout without tons of passing, but they weren't like just spread out around the track. They were all pretty close together, and I enjoyed it because they weren't just running the same lane, which can happen at Williams Grove. They definitely were able to let these things kind of sail around the top if they wanted to, and kind of let them meet. So that was fun to watch for sure. And yeah, Hammaker wasn't really challenged in this one, which you expect unless something major happens. He did what he's supposed to do. Can't hate on him for that for sure. That car's fast.
Absolutely. Chase Gutshall with P4, and I want to take this moment because I missed it in the beginning. I was going to, and then I got distracted. This episode's brought to you by Gutshall's Automotive on 632 South Catherine Street in Middletown. Any of your automotive needs, make sure you go and check those guys out. They do great work. Call for an appointment, 717-944-6888. That's 717-944-6888. Try to make that a smooth transition.
And Jimmy, you know what I was just thinking? Weather on Wednesday is going to be what, 80s? People are going to find out real quick here their AC don't work.
Yeah,
give the Gutshall a call, man. They probably do AC work, and AC work isn't fun. You're not going to do it yourself. Just take it to somebody who knows what's going on. Give them a ring. They'll get you hooked up.
Quality work at a reasonable price. So yeah, Chase Gutshall with a good P4. Adam Carberry, again, another 358 start here. P5. Cody Fletcher in 6. Kyle Spence, Derek Locke, Seth Schnokey. Is that how you say it right? Schnokey. Schnoke.
I think it's just Schnoke. Okay. I think he's
and
silent.
Justin Foster in 10th. Good 358 feature. Doug Hammaker obviously dominated it, getting the well-deserved win. Any other thoughts from the 358 feature?
No, not tons of carnage, which is good. You don't see a lot of cars torn up. I know the green 19, Cruz Kepner, he took a little bit of a tumble. Car was pretty banged up from the wing perspective, but it doesn't look like it's anything that's not recoverable. So I'm sure he'll get back out there soon. But pretty good race overall.
So that was it for PA this weekend, unfortunately. But we're gearing up for obviously a big week. Actually, 4 races this week. Before we do that, let's go check in on the national tours. We're going to go with High Limit first, Friday night, Lakeside Speedway, 2-day show, capping off Saturday night with a $50,000 to win feature. Brad Sweet bringing home the win on Friday night with Tyler Courtney. Good battle between those two guys. Hold on. Let me share the... But yeah, this track was fun. I didn't really watch too much of Friday night. I watched all Saturday night though. Just good racing throughout. It was a little rough. It looked like even rough, maybe a little bit here. Not as rough on Friday night, but just really good show. everybody was complaining about the flickering in turn 1 on Friday, and then I think they just turned it off on
That's just
Saturday.
camera
Uh,
No, they had it fixed for Saturday, but there's camera
Somebody
flashes.
was
That's not
saying
a
that
light.
there
That's a
was
camera
a
flash.
light flickering
Yeah.
somewhere, or was that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I was
It is a light, dude. I was just messing with you. I was like, camera flashes from the cameraman. No, it was definitely the LED light flashing down there. And I think they said they got it fixed for Saturday. So it was good to go.
Yeah, Brad Sweet, just first night here, came from 4 spots back, I believe. Get the win. Him and Tyler Courtney pretty much battled this out towards the end. It was pretty much the Brad Sweet show all weekend. He's on a roll right now, and we know this is what happens with Brad Sweet. Is he rips one off, he gets into a rhythm. He's really, really hard to stop. We saw it with the Outlaws. It's why he won 5 titles, 5 titles, and just guy's hard to beat. Saturday. Again, like I said, he basically brought all that money back. He actually won $50,000, and then there was a $10,000 bonus, I believe, for winning both nights. So he walked away with a total of, I think, 80 grand, because I think the first night was 20 grand to win. Could be wrong. Somewhere in that ballpark, though. So good weekend for him. Good battle with him and Kyle Larson as they were battling through. Thoughts on this race?
Track had a lot of character Saturday night for sure. Fun battle for a while there. And then, once Brad kind of got it, he was the guy. So good battling again. That hole in the corners definitely, maybe they have a spring under there too. There it is. It is called, it is called Lakeside, right? What's it called?
Yep, it's true.
Yeah. So who knows? But added a little bit of fun to it. But Brad Sweet, man, just rinse and repeat. He's the guy right now. So see what the other guys have for him as they move forward.
Chris, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, kind of echoing what you said. Brad Sweet kind of showing us that he's still Brad Sweet. I didn't get to watch any of these races, but yeah, he's kind of taking control.
Did not forget how to do it, did he? We all thought there for a few days that he, didn't win a race yet, and now it's like, okay, we're over it already, and it's May. So
yeah,
now good for him though, for sure. I mean, he's getting it done against the best. You got the best of the best right there, and look at that top 7, 8, 9, 10 cars.
Yeah, I mean, Corey Day was strong all weekend. Justin Peck, plus 7, great run for him, getting a top 5 there. Brent Marks with a good run. I believe he was 4th on Friday as well. So good run for him. Pretty much that top 3 was pretty much the top 3 most of the weekend. Tyler Courtney had a little bit of not a great race on Saturday. He finished 8th, but still good. It's going to make the points pretty interesting there. I don't know what the points are yet. I'd have to go look, but I would imagine Brad Sweet has taken the top spot by now with all these wins that he's racked up over the past 2.5 weeks. So, what's up, Santos? Thanks for checking in. Corey Day looked good on Saturday. Absolutely. He's been looking good. He's definitely one of those. We were talking about, who are the top 5 drivers right now in the country. And we could kind of get into this maybe into the preview later, but Corey Day starts to sneak into that conversation a little bit because of how consistently good he's been against really great competition. I don't know if he's there top 5 yet, obviously, but he's definitely in the conversation. He's definitely top 10 right now with how consistent he's been. Troy Savage added 10K for best results from Red River and Lakeside. That was the bonus, the 10K bonus, and Sweet walked away with over 70 grand. Steph says, I thought Day was moving up till he hit that rut and McFadden passed him. McFadden's been looking good too. He's been right there. Kind of the guys that we have expected to be up there have been up there. The only one that I would say that I'm kind of noticed, not like he's running bad, but you kind of expect them to be up there battling for a win a little bit more based on how he was last year is Rico. But he's still running solid around that 5th to 8th position most nights. And I'm sure it'll hit a stride here in the summer. So, any other thoughts from Lakeside?
Points: Brad Sweet +8 over Tyler Courtney and +61 over Brent, +69 over Corey Day, and Rico is 5th, 171 back.
171. That's, well, I mean, you could make that up, but it's still pretty tight there. I mean, obviously 8 points between the top two. It's kind of a 2-man race, but Brent's, Chris, you sent a link earlier actually, and Brent has the top
Speed
best
Sport.
from Speed Sport, and Brent has the best finishing average in the nation right now.
For guys that have 20.
Yeah, with 20 starts, he's 5.55, and Macri is second with a 7.792 and 24 starts, which is crazy because Speed Sport ranks that way, and you go to sprintcarratings.com for 2024, and Brent is 8th on their ratings list. So, wins are obviously weighted pretty heavily there, which it should be, when you look at the ratings and the money earnings and things like that. Like Brad Sweet, 17 races, 5 wins, made 136 grand. Brent has 20 races, 2 wins, and 75 grand. So average finish, Brent has been ultra consistent, which tells me once he gets it there, everybody's going to have to look out when we get going into the summer. And if we call it right now on sprint car ratings, he's the 8th best driver in the country by rating, and he has an average finish of 5.55. Pretty good. Good.
Yeah, absolutely. So Brent, he's another guy that can just get on a roll here and get himself right back up to points lead, maybe. You know what I mean? So I think that is going to be a good battle all the way till the end. Unless Brad Sweet just continues to stroll for another 3 months. Who knows? You never know. But yeah, we'll see. We'll have to keep an eye on that, especially as High Limit gets closer to PA towards the end of the month, as they'll be coming here for the Weikert, which we're very excited about. But let's get into the series that's coming here this weekend, the tradition, the Posse versus Outlaws. Let's go and check out World of Outlaws from Eldora this past week. Now, I was not able to go. The weather forecast all week looked like shit. And, we're looking and we're like, man, we hope it clears up. It started going down a little bit. And then Thursday, we're just like, we're not going to drive all the way out there to get rained out. And then they end up not getting any delays and they get both shows in, just our luck. So, unfortunately, wasn't able to get to Eldora. But Friday night, Sheldon Haudenschild leads all 30 laps, pretty much dominated the entire night. Logan Schuart went 24th to 4th. Pretty wild race from him. Cale Thomas with the P8. Good for him. Good top 10 there. Thoughts from Eldora Friday?
I mean, Craig Kinzer. Look at Craig Kinzer there, 11th to 7th.
Yeah,
that's a hell of a good run for him. That's big time for him. Sheldon at Eldora has shown obviously speed and knows how to do this. And we've seen him lose races at Eldora. We've seen him throw some away, whether it's his own doing or not. And Logan doesn't surprise me at all. Logan is fantastic at Eldora. But yeah, looked like it was a Sheldon type racetrack there, didn't it? I didn't get to see this one either. But not a surprise there. So good for Sheldon for sure. He needed some good mojo there.
Yeah, he's been, Sheldon's been this way where he will go and dominate a race like this. And then, we might not see him in the top 10 for another 3 races. Just kind of the nature, when he wins big, man. Like, it's always exciting. It's dominant. It's never, it's never dull when he wins.
Oh yeah.
So, that's just kind of the nature of Sheldon. And I will say, I was just about to say this, Tyler. The real star of the show on Friday night was the USAC race. Robert Ballou, from 11th, ripping the outside, got just to the start-finish line over, was it Swanson, I believe, at the start-finish line. Unreal. No, I don't think it was Swanson. It was
Logan Seavey, wasn't it?
No,
it was the other one. Kyle Cummins, I think.
That's it, Kyle Cummins. Thank you.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. What else here?
Wait,
Gio
let me ask
Scelzi.
you, let me ask you a question. USAC, Kentucky Derby, or NASCAR? Which was the best finish?
NASCAR. Sorry, that NASCAR race was so good from beginning to end, and that rate the ending just topped it off. But I would put USAC second.
The Larson move and the USAC move were pretty cool. Like
Yeah,
not coming to the start finish. Larson's move to get in position off of 4 when he just kind of tubbed him and said, "I'm going to send it in here and see what happens," was pretty cool. The finish is the finish. Beat and bang into the start finish line and see who gets to whichever line is the line. When the line isn't really the line that you can't see on TV or no. But I digress. But that USAC race was pretty cool the way it ended. Even the Kentucky Derby, to be honest with you, when's the last time we saw something like that? It's been a
yeah.
long time. So
I mean, you get close finishes at the line at the Kentucky Derby, but it's never like 3 or almost 4 horses, at the line. So that's pretty wild. Yeah, we'll talk about Saturday night here in a second. But yeah, the USAC race is really good. Anything else notable from Friday there?
yeah,
Buddy Kofoid +8 at 6th.
David Gravel -7, second to
Yes.
ninth.
Yeah,
So
that's very un-David Gravel.
very ungravel like. I don't know what happened there. Maybe there was something that happened at the end or whatever. But you don't see that very often. You don't see a minus sign beside his name very often.
Yeah. The +20 by Logan Schuart is pretty wild. We know he's good at Eldora, but damn, man. He had a flat tire, so I guess he had to come from the back. Let's go to Saturday, where this was David Gravel again, but he had a good battle here with Donnie Schatz. Right at the end, it was a nice last lap pass, basically. Pull up here highlights here. This is just a good battle at the end.
Man, you really thought Donnie would get more of a drive there while you went up there.
And you think Gravel's going to slide in front of him, and he parks it right where he needed to.
Took the arrow off the wing.
Yep.
Arrow blocking. Oh, wait.
So good recovery for him, especially points wise, considering, not a terrible finish on Friday by any means, but it could have been better. Sheldon Hansfield +12, like I said, he wins and then he goes and finishes 9th, but still with a +12, looked pretty good still. Brady Bacon looks strong, +10. But I mean, really, the top 5 here has been top 5 or 6 guys here with the Outlaws have been fairly consistent. It's been Gravel, it's been Schatz, it's been Macedo. You had Buddy in there, and it's kind of like a revolving door between Sheldon and Schuart. And that's really it. That's your 6 guys. It's good to see Brock here get a top 10, like he started 7th and stayed 7th. I guess some changes with that crew over the weekend. Maybe that's helping. Yeah, just pretty good racing there at Eldora. It's always a decent race there, especially when they could get the track right. Good point here by Tyler. That's his 99th, David Gravel's 99th career Outlaw win. Does he get Outlaw win 100 this week? We're going to get into that here pretty soon. My hunch is yes, though. We'll get into that, though. Any other thoughts from the weekend that was? Chris, you got anything?
Not really.
Before we get into this week, also Maverick Series. I don't have a slide for this, but the Maverick Series yesterday at Terre Haute, Jacob Allen with the win over Rico. There were 19 cars there. I don't think it was streamed anywhere or anything like that.
No streaming.
No streaming. I haven't seen highlights or anything. Bold move if you're a new series to not even.
They don't want to. They want to put fans in the seats. They came out and kind of said they want to put asses in the seats. We're not streaming it. Come out and see us if you want. It also did sound like the program was a shit show as far as logistics and people going to the back and getting a tire and getting their spot back and just all kinds of things. There was a lot of things came out today about, hey, first race out, we'll make improvements. We're going to get better. Didn't sound like it went the smoothest thing that anybody's ever been to. So looking for them to get it figured out.
Yeah, I mean, you'll get there's always going to be bugs to work out. I just still find it at least you don't even see any highlights. Like I haven't seen anything. So I think that's kind of a bold strategy. How are you supposed to know what's going on if you can't see anything?
You can't see anything because of the dust usually.
But good for Jacob Allen getting a win, and at a Terre Haute, a pretty cool track. I wish
Terre Haute.
Terre Haute.
Terre Haute.
Terre Haute. Terre Haute.
I wasn't gonna let you do it twice. I couldn't.
I was absolutely gonna let him do it.
It's because you didn't know either.
No, I do know. I'm just gonna wait for Craig Dunn to come in here and MF you for something.
I'm sure he
show
will.
you how to get it right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that was the weekend. That was. Congratulations, Jacob Allen. Let's get into it. Let's get into this weekend. Oh, I guess right before, let's Tyler Erb. Brandon Zirk says this. Tyler Erb won Lucas Oil Midwest Series. Congratulations to him.
Sounds good.
And then, USAC on Saturday night. Grant flips after the victory, celebrating. To Kyle Larson, he even went on Twitter and said, "Good, I could pass this baton on to you," because he was the last guy really he did that after a midget win where he flipped it trying to celebrate. But yeah, let's get into this week. PA, Posse versus Outlaws. We got Lincoln Wednesday, Gettysburg Clash, 7:30 p.m. Then we got Williams Grove for the twofer for the Morgan Cup Friday and Saturday. Thank you to Tony Sharp with PA Dirt Track and Promotions here for making these flyers. So we asked you on social media today, what are your picks? And obviously there's been some people talking in the chat, so we're gonna give you our picks, drivers to watch, favorites, all that. But let's get to some of your comments that were today. Hunter Gray with a pretty good one. Although Lucas Wolf had an off week at the Grove this past week, he has looked very consistent in running fast. I think he needs to start the night stronger, and he'll be set. Dylan Norris is also someone who flies under the radar. I like Danny and Macri as favorites. Both are constantly seen on the podium. Jacob Allen is in the middle ground. I don't think he's coming back for this because I think High Limit's running. And he has shown he can beat the best people already this year. I think Posse has a much stronger push this year than what a lot of people think. Thoughts on Hunter's comment?
I mean, we all know time trials are going to set up your night, especially at the tracks that are about to come up. You're not going to see a ton of people drive from 15th, 10th on back in these races that we're about to get into in Posse land and take a win. Not that it can't happen, but it's going to be very difficult to do it. Time trials matter. And Lucas Wolf, it's not that he can't time trial, but I think he's going to have the perfect draw and the right track and lay the best laps, some of the best laps of his career. He has the speed in the racing, but he has to put himself in that position.
Yeah.
We better have a Danny and Macri show up for these events. This is the time. You don't have Brent, you don't have Larson, you don't have Rico, you don't have Brad Sweet. You don't have a lot of the guys that we're used to having, and it's not that the Outlaws coming in town are going to be slouches. I think Gravel could sweep the whole damn week here in Pennsylvania. He's good enough at any of these places. But Danny and Macri better show up and be ready to go. And I'm sure they will be. Jacob obviously, won't be here, but I'm a little bit concerned about this weekend in the Posse. Again, it's top heavy, Danny, Freddie, Macri, but listen, it doesn't take but a lap to have yourself buried and you're just inconsequential for the night. So, hard charger going 20th to 5th doesn't win us a damn race for the Posse. So, you got to be right from minute one. And Macri, listen, Macri's been really, really fast in time trials this year. So I have confidence he'll continue that, and we're going to need it,
Yeah. Dylan Norris, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sold on that yet. I think, he's a guy that if he does time trial well, he can, win a heat race and get himself up there maybe. But I'm kind of show me that you can first. He hasn't really shown it yet, but I'm not doubting the ability of the car or anything at all. But kind of until he does it, I don't know if it's somebody. I don't know if I'd be picking him over the other guys that we're going to talk about probably later. But he's somebody to watch for sure. I think he's somebody that at least makes the feature and can maybe sneak into a top 10.
Yep, I agree.
Daniel Lee for the Outlaws, Lincoln, Shoehart, Grove Friday, Gravel, Grove Saturday, Shots. For the Posse, Lincoln, Dietrich, Grove Friday, Borden, Grove Saturday, Macri. I think those are pretty decent picks there. I don't know. I guess if you want to go by who's the top finisher out of each one, now who wins the actual race, who knows? But there's so many variables, we know. Gravel is definitely somebody in terms of Outlaws. He's the guy to watch. He's good at these PA tracks. He's been really strong this year. As long as he doesn't get a flat tire or some other, getting caught up in something, he's just always consistently up there. And he's won a couple times at Williams Grove.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with any of this. I will say that, if Logan wins at Lincoln, burn the place down, Jacob style, when he won, it might be more popular than Jacobs. Probably not, but pretty damn
Pretty
close.
close.
And listen, it took Logan a long time to get a win at Williams Grove. He got it last year on that last lap pass of Brad at Williams Grove. That no one, I didn't even see it happen. I was like, what just happened? Crowd went nuts. I'm like, they're not cheering for Brad Sweet here, and Logan wins. That place went bananas. But for him to win at Lincoln, a couple miles from their shop, that'll be something. Posse, I mean, at Lincoln, yeah. I mean, you get it's the same. It's Macri, Danny, Freddie, and again, I'm not downplaying Chase or anybody else, but, or Troy or anybody else. But, man, I mean, they got to be the guys you talk about, right? Danny, Freddie, and Macri. So, man, Friday night at the Grove, like, I have a hard time not picking Macedo or Gravel all weekend. I just don't know about this raw speed from anybody from the Posse other than Macri. That's shown me something. Lance, obviously, if he starts up front, but if it's a hammer down track, how can and if an Outlaw gets out in clean air, how am I not going to pick an Outlaw here?
Yeah.
I don't like our. I don't know. I just don't feel good about Friday and Saturday night at Williams Grove this year. We'll see what the rest of the year brings. Maybe somebody will show me something different, but I don't know. We'll see.
Chris Lynn here. I don't know who the hell this guy is. Always Posse, and I predict the Brett Perigo and Eric Rutz sweep at Babs. Not biased at all.
Not biased at all. Posse's going to win everything. I think Wednesday, my thought would be Freddie was your guy, if not Macri. Danny's been strong too, but
yeah.
The fun part about Lincoln is, and not that the Williams Grove lap traffic doesn't matter, because it does matter, but these guys, these Outlaw guys in lap traffic are really good, right? And they're maneuverable. At Lincoln, I don't care who's leading. When you get the lap traffic, the guy in second has an advantage most of the time. And I don't care if it's an Outlaw or Posse leading, it's going to be a problem, I think, unless somebody could just absolutely check out and can knife through lap traffic. But if that track has multiple lanes and they're blocking both lanes lap traffic, man, it's going to be a show. And I think Lincoln is more up in the air for me, that it could go either way. The Grove, I just don't feel as good about unless our guys can get in the top couple and just run away and get going. So we'll see.
Sharon Griffey, Grandma Griff. Macri all the way. I tend to agree. I think if any Posse guy is going to win, it's going to be Macri. I don't know. I don't see any other Posse guys really. I could see guys being in position, but I think Macri's the only guy that has the raw speed to kind of keep up each night. All 3 nights. There's gonna. Danny's gonna be Danny and Freddie are gonna be really strong. They're gonna be strong all week too, but they're going to have a much better shot at Lincoln, I think, than Williams Grove. Borden will be right there. He had a hell of a Outlaw race at Lincoln last year, the earlier one. And he's, if Williams Grove can get to what it was like on Friday night, he's going to be passing cars, ripping the top on that lip. So he's definitely somebody to watch for as well. And but yeah, I agree. Macri is, for me, he's the only one that I would say out of Posse is going to really have the shot to win. And then a good question here from Daniel Cohen. Are there any locals who stand out as a good time trial guy? And mine would just be Macri.
Yeah, I think there's moments. Williams Grove is Anthony Macri. Um, Not that Freddie and Danny can't do it, but it's just right now he just is on a different level from that speed standpoint. Um, Chase is a good time trialer at Lincoln.
Yeah.
He has a quick time this year already. Um, there's a few guys at Lincoln I'd put in there. Yeah, Chad Trout, he comes out with a
TJ Stutz.
good draw. Yeah, TJ Stutz at Williams Grove, you always have to think about from a time trial perspective. If he has a good draw, the track is good. So there's definitely guys, but right now, I mean, if you look at either track or combine both, it's Anthony Macri or bust a little bit. Um, Even if he doesn't have a great draw, he's a guy who I think has the speed to overcome it and has shown that before too. So
Yep.
he's one of those guys at the moment. He has that type of speed to go anywhere and draw any point and be fast.
Agree. Chris, what are your thoughts on that?
Same thing. I mean, I'm just gonna keep echoing you guys. I mean, we know
We'll let Chris go first on the next one.
we know the guys that have to show up. We're hoping the other guys do show up. Nothing against them. They don't have the experience per se. And the situation has to go right for them. So for the Posse to win, that's how it's going to have to be.
Yeah.
We'll get to some others here. Hold on. We got Brandon Zerk, Logan Schuhart for Wednesday at Lincoln. I think that's a good pick. That Logan's obviously the one guy. You could throw Brock in there, but we know Brock is good. I don't think he really has a shot to win any of these. I don't know though. Who knows? But really, he's the only guy that'll borderline be like a Posse and Outlaw victory. Crowd will be happy even if it's even though it's him because he's an Outlaw. Randy Kopp, is Lance going to Lincoln? I do not know. I doubt it.
I doubt it.
But I'm sure he'll be there Friday and Saturday, and I'm sure he'll be a threat. I just don't know. It's a reason I'm not necessarily picking him to win at all. I think he'll be, he could be a threat, and if he could time trial, well, sure, but I don't know how that car's going to time trial. I could see him time trialing top 10, but even like if you're back in like 8th to 10th, maybe you could get yourself a dash spot, but it's going to be tough. Troy and Chase Dietz, dark horses. Troy's definitely another one. He's a guy that we talk about a lot on here, that this could be the year where we see another guy kind of throw his hat in the ring with the Freddie and Danny's and Lance's here and Macri, and actually being a threat, guy that can go out there, get himself time well, get himself into the dash, and run up there.
Are we doing dark horses yet, or are we there?
We'll save that. Let's just go through these comments here. Kyle Moody, Matt Campbell, those are some good names. Steph says it's hard for me to pick an outlaw to cheer for. I'm PA Posse all the way, damn straight. Haven't been into the Outlaws yet, and that's totally good. That's a great thing. I like racing in general. It's cool to cheer for the Outlaws when they're not here, but like when they come here, it's FTO. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's fuck the Outlaws. We want our Posse guys to represent. We don't want to see, that's what I'm saying. Like, Logan's like the only guy that, like, if he wins, the crowd will be happy. If it's any other Outlaw, nobody's going to be happy, except for the really weird psychopath stat, or like Donnie Shots fans and stuff.
Yeah, a couple Sheldon fans here and there,
Yeah. Like, it's cool to like them, but like, when it's like one of those things. Like, it's like a fantasy football team. Like, I have these players that I really like, and when I'm paying attention to their games, I'm rooting for them. But when they come and play my team, fuck them.
Yeah, I'll lose that game. Yeah, I'll lose that game happily if my team wins. Yes, 100% right.
So it's kind of that way. That's the vibes that I get with it.
Yeah.
Carson won the opener a few years ago. Carson Macedo at Williams Grove. He has a good chance to win Friday and Saturday. And you said it, Jay-Z. Tell us what you think about Carson Macedo.
I mean, he just has speed. Williams Grove, he's always contended. I've noticed it year after year after year. He's always there. Top five, top five, top five. He time trials well. He drives hard. He wants to win everything he gets on the racetrack. I'm not a huge Carson Macedo fan, but he gets around Williams Grove really, really well. He's been in contention before. Again, he was the Williams Grove point leader for a few months during COVID, I think. So,
Yep.
he won the opener and they didn't race again until like May. So, so whatever. So, he's a guy that's on the radar. I think you need to look for him. Donnie's obviously won a lot at Williams Grove, but for me, it's gravel. Gravel's the guy until someone takes it from him this weekend. For me, I hate that, but that's just where I'm at with it.
And when we're going back to Tyler Koenig here, Danny Dietrich and Lance, Danny Dietrich at Lincoln, and Lance and David Gravel split Williams Grove. That sounds great. I'd be very happy with that. I don't know if it's Chris. What are your thoughts on that?
That might be the best we can get. I do think Gravel's gonna get one between the three at least. I don't think you'll see us. I'll be surprised if someone sweeps the Grove.
Wow.
There's too many good cars, too many things have to go right. I mean, Danny's been fast all year, minus a couple breaking, some bad luck. So it wouldn't surprise me if we finally get him to show up for one of these big races. But it's just going to be so tough. You need a lot of things to go right from pill draw on.
Yeah. I do think this is like best case scenario. For me, I'm saying it's going to be 2 out of 3 Outlaws, and the one guy that'll win will be Macri. He could win a Williams Grove race, but I would say probably Lincoln. But I could see him winning a Friday Williams Grove race. You know what I mean? Especially if it gets a little bit wider.
I got to be honest with you. It hurts my heart a little to think an Outlaw could win at Lincoln on Wednesday. It feels like such a posse track to me. It feels like it's that not a hidden gem by any means, but like Williams Grove, we've seen plenty of Outlaws win. We've seen plenty of posse win. But that Lincoln race, man, I just hate it leaving there and an Outlaws won that race. I don't know why. It just hurts my heart. I hate it.
It does. It sucks.
I hate it.
It sucks.
And I of all the places I want them to defend, it's Lincoln. I want to keep that in keep that home, man. I don't know why I feel that way about it, but maybe just because that's where I've gone regularly for so many years. But man, it hurts my heart to think that an Outlaw could walk away with that win,
It's not that often that an Outlaw really wins there, I don't think. You know what I mean? They do win there, but Gettysburg Clash last year, Anthony Macri around Brett Marks right at the line. Those two guys dominated and fought that race. So it's definitely, like you're saying, it's definitely very much a posse track, I think, because they go to Williams Grove 6 times a year, and it's a little bit more of a motor track. The Outlaws have a little bit of a leg up compared to Lincoln, where I think these guys, it's a little more technical. You don't need as much motor, and and they kind of know how the track's going to wear. The locals, the guys that run there regularly. But I mean, the Outlaws are the Outlaws. They're going to run well no matter where they go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Randy Cobb brings up good. Logan Schuart and Brock Zierfoss will be meeting fans Wednesday. They're going to be doing an autograph session. So if you get to Lincoln on Wednesday early, go meet those guys. And this is gonna. Here we go. Matthew Bird. Is the virtual flagman going to be a mess with the Outlaws on Wednesday? I don't think so. I think it'll be. They've been doing pretty well with it so far this year, so I don't see why it would change for the Outlaws. But Brandon Zirk, Gio Selzy won the Monteith Classic in 2022. He might have a setup to contend, and that's a good point. 2 guys, Gio Selzy, Buddy Kofoid, 2 guys we haven't talked about yet. Chris, let's go with you. How are your feelings on those guys?
I think they'll be in the mix. I think they are long shots to me. They have the speed. Lincoln races probably closer to where they come from, but it's just so tough. Our guys are going to be that are good at Lincoln, the Freddies, the Dannys, are every bit as good and prepared as they're going to be. If they start up front, get to the dash, maybe. Not to discount their talent or anything, but they're not there for me. They're not the guys I'm afraid of, per se. Not that they won't win. They're not the David Gravel. They're not Donnie Schatz.
Yeah.
Hell, even Sheldon.
Gio's won at Lincoln. He was the youngest winner at Williams Grove in that 71 car. National Open first night 1 a couple years ago. So, I mean, he's won at Williams Grove. He He's been running well. I mean, we were just talking about how those top 5, 6 guys with the Outlaws seem to always be the top 5 or 6 guys, no matter where they go. And Gio and Buddy are 2 guys that are in there. So, I mean, I think you kind of have to throw their hat in the ring. Obviously, we're going to rank, guys like Macedo and Gravel and Shots probably ahead of them. Schuhart as well because it's home. But I don't count either one of them out. I think Gio probably a little bit more to Buddy, for sure.
Buddy ran a lot of races around here in that 11 car last year.
Mm-hmm.
And got really good and won a race, I believe.
He won at Lincoln, I think.
Right,
Yeah.
at Lincoln. Yeah, at Lincoln mostly. And he really was like, had a lot of speed at Lincoln. So don't be surprised at all if Buddy Kofoid's contending for the win at Lincoln on Wednesday. Gio at the Grove for sure has had speed, has won a race there. I think he's a fringe, guy. He's a 5th to 8th place there at the Grove when you mix in some of our guys too. Not that he can't do it, but we'll see.
And Tyler Koenig, would they burn Lincoln down if Billy Dietrich upset the Outlaws? Absolutely. We would never have a Gettysburg Clash again because Lincoln would not exist anymore.
I would burn it down and beat Seth in the foot race around the racetrack.
While the place is on fire.
Yes.
That would be sick. I definitely think, and we'll get into here in a minute, just kind of some more guys that maybe won't compete for a win, but like if they get, they might threaten for a top 10 or just getting into a feature because I'm going to assume there's going to be at least 40 cars at all these events. 40 to 45. There usually is. I mean, maybe Williams Grove, maybe a little less, but Lincoln's going to be packed. Lincoln's going to have 40 easy. But Billy's a guy that I could see if he time trials well. I wouldn't rule out a top 10 because he's done it earlier this year, where he ran really well there. I mean, I know it's the Outlaws, but Lincoln's a different beast. So for sure, it would be wild to see. Brad Weatherby said, I would honestly put Kofoid before Gravel. I don't know if I'd go that far. Buddy's going to be good. Buddy's good. Yeah, I don't know. I can't do it.
No, I'm not there yet. At Lincoln, he has his best shot to be ahead of Gravel. I think Gravel was head and shoulders above him at Williams Grove, and has shown that ability. And Gravel's been quick time at Lincoln, and he's won heats, and he's been in the dashes at Lincoln. But still, I think that that gap is closer at Lincoln than Williams Grove.
Yeah. Marie Beasley with a good comment here. Buddy is his own worst enemy. So if he doesn't overdrive, he has a chance, but he has a tendency to hit the cushion wrong. Oh. Yeah, I mean, he does. Or, try to slide 2 cars and park it and get into a fight with David Gravel.
Buddy Hodenshield there, old Buddy Hodenshield, and getting after it. Stepping on his little,
He has more time at Lincoln. Gravel has 1 at Lincoln. He smoked the field in the CJB5. Yeah, that's where I go back with David Gravel. CJB5, he had a lot of success here in PA. Has he won 2 national opens or just the 1? He won 2, right?
He got the 1 when he spun Stevie Smith out.
Yes, we do remember 2. That. Yeah. But he has 1. He has the second one in the CJB5. So I don't see any reason why. Macedo has
Gravel in 14 and 17.
14, 17. Macedo won 1, right?
Macedo 2021.
21, yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. For me though, in terms of just favorites going into these races, I put Gravel kind of on his own tier. And then, you got Macri, Shots, Macedo. And
Sheldon,
then
Sheldon at Lincoln a little bit, okay? Because if it's on the wall,
yeah.
Sheldon has led laps at Williams Grove, hasn't really pulled off the big one yet at Williams Grove. So it's not that he doesn't drive hard or can't do it, but you got to always have the 17 to either run the C main or be on the pole of the dash. So it could happen either way. Don't be surprised if it's either one. So Just depending on how his night goes. And Sheldon's the guy. He's got a time trial. He's got to do the time trials. If
Yes.
he does and sets himself up, he'll be up front all night.
Sheldon does. I think he just won at Williams Grove last year for the first time.
Was that last year?
I think it was
the other-
last year, or was it the year before?
Summer Nationals, I think, right?
Right.
Yeah.
All right,
But
Tyler,
yeah,
come on.
Sheldon's like 8th down on the list for me in terms of just outlaw guys. Yeah, I think he may be a guy to threaten for a top 10, but I don't, maybe if he time trials well and the track's pretty heavy, which looking at the weather right now, Wednesday looks good. It's going to be hot. Hopefully you don't get any thunderstorms in the afternoon or too early. Looks like rain Thursday, a little bit of rain Friday morning, and it hopefully dries out Friday enough to be able to get Friday night in, and then it looks good all day Saturday until maybe rain later in the night. So kind of have to watch the timing a little bit. There is going to be rain, but right now it looks pretty good.
Sheldon has one win at Williams Grove, and it was in 2021, not last year.
2021, okay.
I think that's when we were at Pocono, Jimmy.
Yeah, we were at Pocono. Yeah. Yeah, just so those are kind of our favorites. Let's talk dark horses, guys that maybe won't necessarily win, and if things go right, maybe win. Maybe like a Brock Zierfoss type of win when he was in the 58, cars flipping, heavy track. If something crazy like that goes down, but a guy that's going to be there 5th to 10th can maybe put himself into a spot to win. And I think we're gonna. For me, first one's going to be Troy Wagman. I think he's the first guy to look, especially at both tracks, really. I mean, he's been running so well. And, that 27 knows how to get around there. And, I think this is a kind of a year where he steps up to being, like we've talked about, being like that 4th or 5th posse guy that could really take it to the Outlaws. What are your dark horses? Chris?
Chase Dietz would be outside beyond Troy. Chase Dietz would be my next pick. Anytime that 2D unloads is fast, kind of like Troy, though, he gets in a good spot. He'll be a problem for sure.
Yeah, and I think they get considered to be dark horses. Simply, they wouldn't be a dark horse at any given week, right? But when you throw in the Outlaws, that could be kind of considered that dark horse. And mine's Matt Campbell. I've seen Matt pass cars. I've seen Matt have speed. I've seen him. He was running down Chase a couple weeks ago at Lincoln in that race, and Chase lapped up to like 11th. Because you mentioned Troy, I'm going to put Matt Campbell in there because Troy's on my radar. Chase is on my radar. But that next right there is, Devin. For me, it's like Devin, Matt Campbell, and Aaron Bollinger kind of area. In those three, I think Aaron would have to have the perfect night, and it's nothing against Aaron, but he'd have to have the perfect night to be there. All things considered, but like for me, it's like Matt Campbell has been a guy who's passed a ton of cars the last couple of years, like Chase has.
Mm-hmm.
Just has to have it go right, and he'll have to have it go right all night. But yeah, Matt Campbell would be mine at Lincoln anyway, at Lincoln Speedway anyway.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Lincoln's very unique because you got a couple different guys there than you would have at Williams Grove, but there's some overlap there. And I think Matt is definitely one of them, for Lincoln for sure. Maybe not so much at Williams Grove, but I definitely think he'll be factored.
Not that he can't. I just don't know if I'm ready to put him there yet. Need to see some more results at Williams Grove consistently. Williams Grove, it's Troy. It's got to be right.
Yeah.
I think it's got to be Troy. I think he's in that category. And Devin, I think if it's the right circumstance and Devin's up near the front, Devin's in that category for dark horse for me. And I know that he'll be hyped up and ready to go for it. And not many are going to outdrive him. So if it all comes together, a starting spot and the track surface is right, got to put him in that category for me.
Randy Copper, TJ Stutt's dark horse, and I think with time trials and knowing how well time trials, especially at Williams Grove, I would not be totally shocked with the TJ Stutt's top 10. I don't know if I'm definitely putting him in there, but I would not be shocked if he time trials well and if it's a hard track to pass on. up there for sure.
Hey, Gary, welcome into the conversation. We're talking dark horses, not favorites. But no, he just got here. But yeah,
Yeah.
Macri's in our list of guys that
For
can
sure.
go win this race as a favorite. We're talking that like fringe, good, but on that edge, dark horse kind of thing. If Macri's your dark horse, we're all in big freaking trouble with Posse land. So he's he might be our our hope. But yeah, man, who's your dark horse? Who do you think?
Two people here now. Chad Trout, Brandon and Craig both say Trout looked good until he ran out of fuel. And yeah, obviously he can he can time Trout pretty well. He just ran really well at Williams Grove, and we know he runs really well at Lincoln. So yeah, I could see him as a guy that, if he gets a top 10, would not be surprised.
I'll tell you what would impress me Friday night with Chad Trout, that dash, Macri was on him, and Macri ran him down, and Macri was there. And I don't think Macri pressed the issue because I'm going to start second. But Trout was faster in the feature than he was in the dash. They came in, adjusted what they adjusted, and like in that feature, man, he was just really, really nice job. Yeah, Bollinger, Gary, great job. That's exactly was in my trio of like dark horses. That Matt Campbell, Bollinger, who was that third one I put in there with him? Not Devin, not Troy, maybe Troy, whatever.
I think it was Troy. Yeah.
Yeah, like those three kind of like on the fringe,
They're Chase
dark
beats.
horse and Chase. Yeah. So agree completely. Aaron's had a lot of speed this year at Lincoln, and he's shown some good results, no doubt. Cole Small, shouting out Cole Small. That's like, is that like when you wear your own t-shirt, Cole? Is that like, is that what's going on here? Cole Small say, and your name is saying, is there another Cole Small? Is it a different Cole Small giving Cole Small props? Is that what we're talking about? As long as you get the 305 out of it, Cole, you'll be even faster at that. So,
So here's the next one I want to go into. Both, and these could be guys that we brought up already, possibly, but one from each, Outlaws and Posse, a guy that we probably have too high expectations for going into this weekend. A guy that maybe we're expecting either to be in the win or even into a top 10, and we're thinking maybe there could be guys here that might not even make the feature. Chris, go ahead.
Freddie. Just because I expect him to win. Or at least be in the fight to win.
Yeah, people expect him to be up there, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking Posse. It's got to be Freddie in this conversation until he proves us otherwise, and puts the whole night together against the best of the best. And he's won this race before. So when I say that, he's won this race before. Everyone tends to forget he went out, drove around Donnie Schatz and turned 1 and 2 at Lincoln for a World of Outlaw win at Lincoln. But the bulk of that history says Freddie is that guy that we put the bar up pretty high, and we're ready for him to start leaping over the damn bar. And
yeah.
We all want it. We all do. And even if you don't like him week to week, you're going to root for the guy in Posse. Like, I want to hear the fans when he wins an outlaw race at Williams Grove. I want to be in that victory lane. I'm going to be out there, and I want to hear what that sounds like. Because, man, are people's brains going to explode not knowing what to do if Freddie beats the Outlaws at Williams Grove. Are they going to cheer? Or are they going to just be quiet?
They're not going to be quiet.
They're not going to be quiet. They'll boo.
I wouldn't doubt if people boo. Do you think Posse fans will boo Freddie at Williams Grove if he beats the Outlaws?
I don't trust them to make good decisions.
Yeah, I don't. Me neither. Me neither. I definitely think the Freddie haters will still boo no matter what.
Like, I think they're just quiet. I don't think they boo.
They're not quiet. No way.
No, they will never be quiet.
Against the Outlaws. Man, that hatred is deep.
There's no way against the Outlaws and the Freddie-Danny rivalry. No, they don't trump each other.
Now, I want to know, here's what I do know. If it's Freddie and Danny at the end of this Outlaw race, and Freddie beats Danny, they will boo him.
Yes.
But if Freddie slides gravel or shots or Macedo and wins the race, you're saying you'll still hear boos.
Yeah, yes. I think so. I think we will. Maybe not as loud as a normal weekly race, but you're still going to hear people boo.
Okay, fair enough.
A decent contingent.
Okay, so Jimmy, do you have a person? Now, I was just staying posse there. I had some
Yeah.
outlaws
Wait,
that
let's
I
just, yeah. Let's just go Posse then first.
and this is for all week,
All
or just
week.
okay.
All week. And I know I'm probably going to get shit. It's Danny Dietrich. I think
I
I'm
think it's
just
the
not
same, right?
confident. I'm not confident in. Now, if I can, I'm so up and
The
down
track,
with it because
track record,
I could see
go
him
ahead.
getting into a dash, but I could also see him missing a feature and having to use a provisional.
The track
Uh,
records aren't that much different between the two guys we're talking about.
right. And I'm not just saying it because we just said Freddie. He was just the guy in the back of my mind where I'm like, man, like I don't know. I don't know where to put him right now. I'm hoping that maybe they got, they tried some stuff at Williams Grove. But just he was ripping off wins and top twos and top threes, and then all of a sudden they kind of headed a wall lately. And I just don't like that form going into an Outlaw weekend. This would be a great time to turn it around, and I don't put it past him because it's a great team, great driver, knows these tracks, has done it before. But he hasn't done it that recently, and the way he looks, I think we're going to expect him to be up there fighting for a dash, maybe even fighting for a win, and I don't even know if he makes a top 10 this week.
Yeah, these are our
Don't shoot me.
expectations. No, it's both. I think when we come to this time of the year, I think Danny's been more consistent in making A mains and being, in the conversation of these outlaw races for the most part lately. But it's the same thing. The bar is set really high, and where's he at? So,
Mm-hmm.
and again, that's how hard this is, though, right? That's how hard this is when they come to town. It's how hard it is in general, whether he's racing local or not, and they're some of the best ones. But when the big guys come to town, that's how hard this stuff is. That some of our best don't have it together, don't have the perfect night, don't get the right lap. Right? We know 2 laps can set up your whole damn night.
Yeah.
2 laps.
Yeah.
Can they get it done and have it right at the right time? So yeah, I think all of us are on it there for sure.
Yeah. And I think there's some guys here that will definitely, even though if the track's pretty hammered down, any of the 3 nights, I don't know if it will be at Lincoln because of how warm it's going to be. But I think Pildraw is going to make a big difference. And I think there's certain drivers that we're talking about as favorites that could overcome Pildraw, that will be fast no matter what, no matter where they go at. I think Danny's is one of those that, like, if he goes out early, he can maybe get a good, we can see. If he goes out last and the track's slicked off and it's a lot slower, that's harder for anybody. But I just think there's a handful of drivers that could overcome that, and that's just it. So, did you go, Jeremy?
Yeah, Freddie.
Freddie. So you guys both went Freddie. I went Danny. Let's see.
And listen, I only put, and we obviously put those 2 guys there for a reason. But honestly, the bar for me is so high for Macri that it's going to be easy for him to undershoot it. He finishes 5th. I'm going to feel like, bruh. So
yeah, true. That's a good point.
That's how crazy good he is right now,
Mhm.
especially here and anywhere. But that's how good he is right now that we come in here and we go, it's Macri, guys. It's freaking Macri. And that bar is so damn high that he leaves and without a win. We're going to be like, my guy. But it's still Freddie and Danny, I think, for all of us,
And you're talking about booze. If Freddie were to win, Jennifer Cool, I'd rather an Outlaw over him any day.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Brandon Zerk. Anybody but Freddie still holds even when the Outlaws are around.
That's insane because
that
Big
shit's
Fred
wild to me.
Big Fred never got booed when he won, that I remember. When he beat the Outlaws, that didn't really happen. This is next generation hate. Man, I love it. I love it.
Also, Danny has been having bad luck lately. He needs to kill the bad mojo. And yeah, this would be the perfect time to do that.
100%.
I just don't see it. Danny has been trying new things that obviously aren't working. He needs to stick to his normal setup and drive it like he knows. Hey, they were struggling, though. You got to try something. Matt Trace with Devin Borden could be a sleeper this week for the Posse. Same with Walkman. We agree. Devin Borden is kind of somebody I think is like fringe there, where we're kind of expecting to be up there with Danny and Macri and Freddie, where we could be put up for a letdown. But I don't know. I think if he runs anywhere in the top 15, that's a good weekend for him because he could be
It's
time trials.
It's time trials. It continues to be put yourself in the spot, get it right all night, no matter when you go out. When he puts himself in that spot and puts it all together, Devin's going to be a problem every week, every racetrack, every time he goes out there. Just got to put it all together, all at the same time, and start doing that consistently, and he'll be in that conversation.
Gary Ferguson. Remember, Robbie Kendall is in the Smith car this week. So that's cool. Good to see him back. It's been a while. Somebody said, he said Cole Duncan as well. If there's any, and is there Western PA invaders this week? And that's kind of another thing we haven't even gotten to is kind of car counts and who do we think, obviously you have High Limit going on. So we're not going to see some of those guys that we saw last year come in as like true outlaws. There aren't too many true outlaws at this point. Your true outlaws kind of all went High Limit. So, I mean, there's a few, don't get me wrong, but not as much as it was last year. So who do we see come in this week? Anybody? I can see that.
Does he come back? But otherwise, I don't think that many because it's a Wednesday, number one. These guys some of these Western PA, Ohio guys are weekend warrior types and they have jobs. And for them to come in here and get their ass kicked against the Outlaws on a Wednesday night just doesn't seem maybe do you see a Brandon Spithaler? He was in town one weekend. That name comes to mind. But listen, they have races over the Friday and Saturday night in Ohio, right? I would assume. I doubt we see AJ Flick, not after the wreck, not after everything that went on. And Lincoln's not his style. I don't think
see anybody.
I think
you see some guys maybe Friday and Saturday. You might see your Frakers. You might see, you know what I mean? Like some guys that kind of come out of nowhere. I'm trying to think of who was there on Friday that was kind of a surprise. I don't know. It'll probably come to me. But do we see Kyle Keene?
He posted no.
No.
I
think he posted
so.
He posted
No
2 weeks for the race.
No Stricklers, no Keene,
Right.
no Givler, I don't believe, this weekend.
So I don't know. Old generation here. Any Posse is good for me. Shout out to Tony. I'm with you.
Yeah.
He also brings up another good name. Well, obviously, Sisney put it together a good World of Outlaw night. Dylan Sisney's a guy, like, if he doesn't have that wing go down, he was running 5th, 6th or so. He's been consistently in that 5th or 6th spot. So I could see him sticking into a top 10 here, especially at Williams Grove. Maybe not so much Lincoln.
Does he come to Lincoln? Do you think he comes to Lincoln Wednesday?
He's been racing a lot more, man. Maybe he does.
I know.
Yeah.
No port this weekend, right? No port. Weather looks a little iffy maybe for the weekend. So does he make a trip to Lincoln?
I could see it.
Maybe he gets the day off from being mayor.
He's the mayor. He could
gets
give
to come
himself
down
off.
and play a little bit on a Wednesday. Yeah, 100%. The bridge is up now. We got no drama in Port Royal.
Tim Schaefer, maybe. I could see that. He's another guy. But
we haven't seen him in PA.
Yeah.
We haven't seen him in PA in a while
I mean,
now. All right. So
I could see it. I could see Friday, Saturday.
I don't know.
Brandon Zirk, going back to the Freddie Raymer thing. Funny thing is, I was a fast Fred Raymer fan as a teenager, but since I went to school with Danny and become friends with him, I had to start rooting for my high school buddy. Totally understandable. Doesn't mean you have to hate the other guy, though. It does.
Yes, it does.
That's how
it works in PA.
And Tyler said, Emerson Axum. He's like one of the few guys that I could think of that would come in. I just don't see too many invaders. Is Pittman running the 69K? No, it'll be Logan Wagner. I believe.
I thought he was running all the Outlaw shows.
Is he running all the? I thought it was the final 2 weekends. I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong. Maybe it is Pittman this weekend. I just,
kind of weird.
After Logan runs,
but that's
sure
who. Jim, that's how Wagner was there Friday, so maybe that's who you were thinking of too.
Maybe, yeah, I think so because he hasn't been there in a long time. What I mean, he ran National Open, I think, last year.
Year before.
Logan is in the car. Thank you.
Yeah,
Kyle Mooney is another one. That's a good name. I don't know. Lincoln for sure.
Lincoln, yes. Lincoln, he's had some consistent good speed. If he time trials, he's up there. Like he can have that run. He's Moody, Bollinger, Norris, Campbell, and Campbell at the lead of that for me. Like that group, very competitive. Know how to get around Lincoln. Can be aggressive. Can make moves. Things just have to go right. Right. It's got to go right from the
Yeah, I
start.
agree. I think he's shown a lot more speed this year, and I could see him at least getting himself into the feature. I don't know about, factored into a top 10 or anything like that, but I think he could have a solid run.
I tell you, a sneaky pick to make the features at Williams Grove this weekend is Brandon Raymer.
Oh, cool.
He's going to should be there. He's very good for not running hardly any laps at Williams Grove.
Mm-hmm.
He's really good at Williams Grove. Whenever he shows up, he tends to be like pretty damn sporty. Don't know why, don't know how, but he is slated to be at Williams Grove this weekend. So look for him to be a sneaky pick to make an A.
Trace Lucas Wolf, we kind of talked about him before. I think he's a guy that struggles to make the feature. But I hope not. Because like we said, time trials with him, man. I don't know.
It's time trials. If Lucas Wolf has an early draw, puts down a good lap,
yeah,
he'll be in the top 10. He has absolutely all the speed right now to be a top 10 car.
Got to get there.
But no matter where he draws, he doesn't have a time trial lap. I see trouble.
That's what makes the Outlaw show so tough. Everything's straight up and all based off your time trial. So you got to be on it from the beginning. And if you have any missteps, it's going to put you back, and you got to be perfect all night. And even then, that might not be good enough.
I like this comment.
Yes.
Landon Crawley. How does he do in his Williams Grove debut? This is a kid who's just dumb enough to go and do some really crazy geo-salesy things when he was in the 71. Like, I'm not saying he goes and wins this race, but he's a guy who go out there and time well, win a heat, get in a dash, doesn't know what the hell he's doing yet, but he absolutely has that kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing speed yet. He could do that, man. Like, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'd be cheering the kid on, but we'll see, right? It all depends.
And Cam Smith as a dark horse. Absolutely.
Yeah. Cam's had some good runs this year.
He's been
just
really
got to
impressive.
put it all together.
All season. So we'll have to see how he does. Let's go. The other half of that question was Outlaw guys that you might be overrating a little bit, that kind of expect to not have that great of a race. My pick's not going to be very popular. Logan Schuchart.
I was going to say that, you prick. That's who I had on top of my head. Yeah.
Okay. Mine's Carson Macedo because I don't like him.
Yeah.
But he's good at the Grove, but I'm just not a fan of his. And I'm not a David Gravel fan either, but I think Gravel can overcome all of that and still get it done. I don't think he's going to disappoint me, and I'm setting the bar too damn high for him. He's like Macri locally. Like I don't think I could set the bar possibly high enough. So yeah, maybe a fifth for Gravel is a letdown, but for me it's Macedo. I'm perfectly fine if he wins everything all night and then, blows up and DNFs. I'm okay with that. So I'm going to put the bad juju on it.
Out there.
That's what I'm.
I think the thing with Logan is he's going to have a lot of expectations, especially like we're talking about. Like we could see it, winning at Lincoln, would be huge, but man, just something this year, like we saw. He came, charged 20 spots at Eldora this past week. But he also started 24th. He's not been having the great early nights where he's up there even competing. He's always having to come from outside the top 10. It feels like, to even just get into the top 10. I think you see more of the same this week. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully it's a get right weekend for them. They come home, some home cooking, some home tracks. Maybe they could get it right. But to me, it's kind of a show me that you can do it, because this kind of goes back to last year too, where, ever since kind of, he had a good run at Knoxville, he had a good run at Kings Royal, and then ever since then, just kind of have been like a back-end top 10 guy. And we were kind of expecting him going into 2 seasons ago for the World of Outlaws to kind of throw his hat in the ring to compete for the title with Brad Sweet and David Gravel. So just kind of hope he gets it right. But I would temper expectations on him getting even a podium. Bill Rose
Agreed.
to make
I'm
the
not sure
feature,
what we're
maybe.
talking about with Bill Rose there. I don't know how I could set that
I think
bar.
Zierfoss is a guy that is going to have a hard time making the feature. I don't know. It's so weird because he comes back. He ran well against the Outlaws before he went out on the tour. And then he goes out on the tour and he comes back and he's having a hard time. Ever since, for me, I don't think I've seen Brock run well at Williams Grove since the National Open when him and Lance got together for the lead. And ever since then, he's struggled. So I wouldn't put it past him to maybe sneak himself into a top 10 because he knows how to run around there. And if he could get the car right and everything, maybe. But I think he's got a uphill battle. All right. Anything else? Anything other predictions, thoughts going into this week?
Brandon Zerk talked about Bill Balog there, and he doesn't have a lot of history. He doesn't have a lot of history here. So I don't know what to expect there. I think at Lincoln, he could be sporty a little bit, but Williams Grove could be a challenge. Who knows though? He could surprise us. He's a good race car driver. Man, I'm excited to see what he can do. I'm a fan. I like Bill Balog. I like him. So we'll see. But listen, I'm just a fan. I'm here for all of it. I'm excited.
Hell yeah.
One of the best weeks. Lincoln race every year is one I look forward to every year. One of my favorite events, races of the entire season. Weekday, I take a half day, take some time off work. It's like a mental vacation day, man. Get out there early, hang out, relax, have a great night.
Hell yeah.
I'm pumped.
I was able to do that last year, and I had a blast. I was able to get off of work and go out there and then do Williams Grove also the whole weekend. Can't do that this year. I'm going to try to get at least out to Williams Grove for both shows if they have them. Hopefully the water table doesn't get too high this year.
I'm already worried.
Chris, you're going to be there maybe Friday?
To be determined. A lot of moving parts. I don't know. Could be at Lincoln. Might be at BAP Saturday. Might be at Grove Friday. Maybe none of them.
Maybe none. Maybe all. Chris doesn't know yet. It's only Monday night.
He's an amoeba, so
the week is young. Wherever the wind takes him,
Tyler Koenig said, "See you guys Wednesday and Friday, heading to Grandview for USAC East Coast on Saturday." Which that would be a good show. The wingless cars always run really well at Grandview. They're always fun. And yes, Sealands Grove on Sunday. So, Ray Tilly Classic on Sunday. It is Mother's Day. It looks like a nice day. Been some drama around this track this week on social media. Don't want to get too much into that other than it's a little hairy. But get out and support the track if you can. Take your mom. Have a great time. Why not? But 4-race weekend, and I think fingers crossed that we get all 4 in. I will be there on Sunday for sure. Will any Outlaws venture to Sealands Grove Sunday? This is a great question because now they have an Outlaw date, but I don't think they have. Do they have that rule where if it's an Outlaw track, you can go run it without being penalized? I don't think they do anymore. I don't think any of them are going to waste one of their freebies on a $5,000 to win show at Sealands Grove. So I don't think you'll see any there on Sunday. Honestly, you'll be lucky to get. I think they'll be lucky to get 24 cars on Sunday, maybe 20. Don't want to be Debbie Downer. I'm hoping that they prove me wrong. But I don't think you'll see any Outlaws there Sunday. Just because of the way their rules are. Nobody's going to waste a freebie to go there. I think if they had the old rule where it was like they could go race at a track that's on their schedule without penalty, you would see a bunch of them there because they don't have. There's a lot of them don't have laps there, and they're going there for the first time. So, yeah, right. It would count as one of theirs 4. So
the next comment says it wouldn't count. So, I hate this so much.
Yeah, I don't know.
If it counts against their 4, you won't see any of them
Yes.
there.
If it counts as one of
doesn't,
the four, they're not doing it.
if it doesn't, I wouldn't be surprised if you see 1 or 2 maybe, just to try to get some laps there. You don't get many opportunities to run there, and they're going there for $30,000 to win later this year. Why not? Why not get some laps? Try to get a little bit of a notebook before you come in.
What is it to win that race?
5,000.
No.
Yeah.
No. On Mother's Day?
Where
do the Outlaws go after Williams Grove? New York?
Good question. Let me see here.
Thought I saw they go to New York. Is it Ransomville?
I think you're right. Because then it's weird because then High Limit goes up there.
Attica. They go back to Attica.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think they go to Ohio.
Yeah, they go to Ohio. Sorry. Attica, Eldora, Jacksonville, Tri-State. Listen,
Yep.
if they leave Williams Grove Saturday night, they go home. If they're in North Carolina, they can get to North Carolina overnight. They're going to go home for Mother's Day. I don't see them staying around here. They're packing up and getting out of town. And for that matter, if Saturday's weather doesn't look good, they're packing up and going home to be with Mother's Day and spend time with their families on Sunday.
Right.
That's
But
my prediction.
What about a guy that's local? What about like a Logan Short or a Brock Zerfoss?
Not for
I don't think you see them.
$5,000.
I just don't see them using one of their 4.
That's
for
what I'm saying.
$5,000.
I don't see them using their 4. I think if they had no penalty, I think maybe those guys would because they're already here and they're home. But I don't think you see any of them there on Sunday, unfortunately, just because of the way the stupid outlaw rules are.
Yeah, which is the dumbest shit ever. They're going to race there later this year.
Yep.
I'll never. Whatever. Maybe I don't. Maybe I'm too stupid to understand why.
Yeah. Austin Bishop repeats Williams Grove Sunday, dark horse for the Williams Grove, and he's not somebody we talked about against the Outlaws. He does run pretty well at Williams Grove, but yeah, he has to time trial well. That's a good one. I think he's kind of a fringe guy.
And he destroyed that car that won at Williams Grove. So that car is RIP at the Port Royal crash the week after. So. Again, no, whatever, but they struggled a little bit at the Grove. Got things just they got it. I know Austin was a little not thrilled with how Friday night went for him. Just got to get it all put together. So hopefully they get it right.
Maria's correct too. Forgot about this. Outlaws have the Hershey Experience on Thursday.
Huge event.
Go get up to the cars. Go meet the drivers. A bunch of stuff going on there. It was a really big hit last year. Hopefully the weather holds up and is decent to be able to get there. I think it's like thunderstorms maybe in the area. I don't think it's like an all-day rain, but
like 20 plus drivers between local and Outlaws.
Yeah.
Like huge driver count.
Yeah, just cool to see. Go to Hershey in that stadium, see sprint cars all over. Today's Monday. I thought it was Thursday. I thought it was Wednesday. Lincoln. They do the experience on Thursday, and then they do Friday, Saturday. Williams Grove
tomorrow,
or maybe it is tomorrow. It's sometime.
Wait, that can't be it. May 13th. It's not even this week.
Oh, he's right. It is
next Monday.
That's weird. Why wouldn't they do that in between?
So now they won't be leaving town.
So they'll be here.
Wait a minute. Racing. It's the next Monday. What?
Yeah.
Thursday's the rain day for Lincoln.
They're still not racing Williams Grove on Sunday.
I don't know, man. Thank you guys for correcting us because we obviously don't know our shit right now.
Didn't they have it the same week as Lincoln last year?
Yeah, I thought they had it on the in-between day. Or it was the day before Lincoln. It was right around Lincoln. They moved it to Monday. Did they move because is that a recent move or was it just always scheduled that way?
Well, that changes my idea of everybody getting out of town for Mother's Day.
Right.
I hate that for the teams. That sucks. I mean, great event. Go do it, but okay.
I think what you see at Williams Grove on Sunday, maybe you don't see Outlaws racing there, but I bet you see an Outlaw hauler there like you did last year at the end, and maybe you see some teams and maybe even some drivers or something there just as fans. So that could be a cool experience. If they're around, why not? The But that would be big for Selinsgrove if they can get a couple Outlaws somehow committed, but I don't see it happening. So yeah, Ray Tilly Classic on Sunday. I can't remember what's running with them. I want to say it's late models. I have to look it up. Selinsgrove. Super late models. So that should be a good show. Super late models are pretty cool. So 410 super lates, kind of like the Port Royal show, the weekly show, going to Selinsgrove for Sunday. So anyway, we're going to wrap this up. Thank you guys for coming in and checking us out. Before we go, Thursday, what is happening Thursday? Chris?
Rolling podcast with Tony Sharp and I. Tony should be back this week, feeling better. Cooper Shue, young driver, going to be interested to kind of learn about him and so forth.
Cool. Yeah, seems like a good kid. Talked to him the last year or two, getting his program going. Young guy, just getting his career started. So I'll tune in for that one for sure.
Real quick, this is Brandon Zirk wants to do Drink It and Dump It. So, Brandon, why don't you put yours in the chat? Fans, you guys put yours in the chat. Drink it. Someone who you want to give some kudos to this weekend. Dump it. Someone you feel sorry for had a shit weekend. I'm going to drink it to... I'll drink it to Lance DeWeese, first win in the 12. I'm going to dump it to Weather Forecast. Fuck them.
I'm going to dump it for Chad Trout. Tough break there. I think he wins that race. That'd been a cool thing. But drink it. I guess got to go Lance too. I mean, first win for that team. Big for them. I know those guys were close last year with Billy. Probably should have had one or two. But big win for them.
Yeah.
So because we didn't do this last week, we talked about some things. We didn't do Drink It or Dump It last week. I'm going to go back a week.
Okay.
And I'm going to drink it to Joey Amantia for his win at Port Royal in the USAC East Coast 360s. Super cool still thinking about that. Pretty cool. Dump it. Chad Trout's on that list for sure. You hate to see that, the way that went down. And it feels like it's, you've seen these kind of things before where an underdog, sort of underdog story, ready to go win, and then the veteran winner that wins a lot goes and wins, and it just sort of washes away in the mist, and they don't have a shot at another win the rest of the year. Or, like, you hate that because you see that speed and you're like, man, he's going to be right back. But have you seen that before, where that guy's like ready to break through, get that big win? Not that he hasn't won races before, but like that would have been a cool big win for him. And then that shot, you don't see it reemerge the rest of the year. So I hope that's not the case, and we don't forget about that, because what he did to all night long against all the people that were there. Macri was there, Lance was there, Troy was there. Like, you can't ask for better people behind you, and you were holding them all off. So hopefully he keeps that speed and confidence to go into the future of this year and go do some cool things. So Joey Amantia, Chad Trout.
Hell yeah. Brandon Zirk says, drink it to Lance and dump it to Mother Nature. I'm with you, brother. And Mac refers bad luck. Yeah, hopefully I have full confidence that Macri they'll turn it around and get ready here for Outlaw weekend here. And he's been fast even with a broken car at times. So but yeah, hopefully nothing else happens to him, and he can help represent Posse here this week, along with the others that we talked about tonight. So yeah, good show, guys. Fun time. That's it. Hopefully the weather holds off and we get all 4 of these races in, and we see all of you guys at the track. Have a great night.